let's go with Dr. Anand Agarwal, CEO Sterlite Technologies at the very first. You have observed, of course, how the CSR scenario has evolved over these last 5 years of the legislation. And I know for a fact that your company has tried its best to engage with the basic value of the CSR law, which is to engage with the development agenda of the nation and to move towards a responsible leadership within the company. So can I ask you to begin with, how does your leadership look at CSR and the SDGs, and how in your company have you tried to internalize and take forward that agenda?
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee. I'll just give a brief context about who we are and then lay out the questions that you talked about. I represent STL. We are a company which essentially builds data networks globally. And we do that by, we have manufacturing facilities which does optical fiber manufacturing in India and locations globally, as well as we have capabilities towards designing and deploying data networks. So for us, the CSR initiatives have been focused, and we've been doing this over last several years. So almost like 13 or 14 years we've been doing it. And for us, the focus has been in 4 core areas. The areas of education, environment, health, and women empowerment. And we do it in areas wherever in communities, wherever we are present. The presence could be either in terms of manufacturing, or the presence could be in terms of a high impact project that we are essentially doing. And we found that whatever we are doing in these areas, so whether it is environment, whether it is education, whether it is healthcare or women empowerment, is not only directly related to the SDGs, not only is compliant with the laws of the nation which came a few years ago, it absolutely makes a lot of business sense, and it's aligned with the objectives that have been laid by our customers. It aligns with the purpose that our employees see. For instance, our purpose as an organization is transforming everyday living by delivering smarter networks. And we find that that aligns, that actually reverberates with a whole lot of the ecosystem of the employees. And now we have started seeing our investor community as well of actually looking at our sustainability roadmap, looking at the social activities that we are doing. So for us, what started out almost 14 years ago is now reverberating with a much wider ecosystem. And definitely the law that was authored by you helps us keep that in check, helps us make sure that we are doing it. And irrespective of the ups and downs in business scenarios, there is a continuous focus, there is a continuous move in terms of seeing long-term sustainable impact of everything that we do. We were very clear that we did not want to do CSR by writing checks. For us, CSR is in areas towards looking at long-term impact wherever we operate in. And it is largely based on volunteering done by our own employees, working in collaboration with the best people who in a local environment can make an impact. So we have set criteria of working with NGOs. We have set criteria on measuring the impact of everything that we do. And everything is towards long term, whether it is creating check dams, whether it is forestation, whether it is improving preventive health care of tribals in areas that we operate in.
There are 2 or 3 things you mentioned which I thought were of great import. We've now finally managed to get away from what I used to call checkbook charity, and we have now moved into a strategic view of CSR. 2 issues quickly here, since you come from a technology company. How much are you using technology to drive forward your CSR and SDG agenda? And secondly, how important is it? Because one of the things that we really wanted when we wrote the law was that the decisions on CSR should be at the highest levels of the company, that they must be on the board agenda, that there must be a board committee that drives CSR. And Mr. Maheshwari spoke very eloquently this morning about the fact that the leadership of the company now finds CSR at the very top of their agenda. So for technology and for leadership, how is it in your company?
Sure. First of all, for us, CSR clearly is both a board and a senior management agenda, because it's the way we typically see it, CSR is not something like a vertical that you spend some time on it and then go back to business. For us, it's a extremely integrated way of doing business. For instance, you talked about usage of technology. So we have this project on education where we have 500 schools, the municipal schools in Bombay, being taught through a virtual classroom project. Almost more than 430,000 students from grade 5th to grade 8th are on that project. And we use our technology. We use the fact that we know how to transmit high quality broadband. We know that the areas which require improvement is both quality of education, quality of teachers, as well as facilitation at the local level. So we use broadband to, the high-speed broadband to have the two-way conversation between a high-quality teacher and the students. We use our data analysis and AI capabilities on our software business to start seeing which ones of the enabled teachers, which are the right parameters which are actually creating the impact that we intend to do. We use sensors from our IoT capabilities in seeing the impact on environmental capabilities. For instance, I'll just give you an example. We are doing smart cities in various, so we are doing Jaipur, we have done Gandhinagar, we are doing Kakinada. The requirement for us is just to go and set up an ecosystem. But on our own, we have, over the last 3 years, we have set up sensors across Gandhinagar, where we are seeing how, because of it becoming smarter, how does traffic move? How does the air quality get improved? So that it starts really and becoming a part of our purpose of transforming everyday living. And I mean, since bulk of our company is made out of engineers, anything that we think for CSR also has that engineering or a technology mindset in it.